Hello everybody, and welcome back to All the Mods 9. In the previous episode, we continued to explore space, and finally finished off with the Ad Astra mod, creating all 4 tiers of rockets and exploring every single planet that there is to offer. So, in between episodes, I've kind of been cooking. As you could probably see from the little montage at the beginning of the episode, this is the space station. I don't really have a name for it yet, but I think it's really nice. There's a lot to it. It's also really big, so it might take a while to actually sort of go through and explain everything. However, it is pretty empty at the current moment, so it shouldn't take too long. So yeah, let's start up at the top. We basically have like a little communications dish up here. We have a little antenna here, which I really like. We used I believe these are, yeah, framed trapdoors with the iron pillars inside, so kind of looks like a mini radar dish there. We used plenty of these small industrial lamps all across the base, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So this is where ships will be launched from and landed. If we ever decide to launch a ship again, we would come out of here, and this leads down inside to the launch pad as well as an airlock. We can go ahead and open that up. And yeah, like I said, it is going to be pretty empty in here. I plan on having elevators go throughout the entire base. But yeah, this is sort of the first section inside the space station. I need to sort of move these guys around. I think I'm going to put them in the corners. But yeah, this is going to be sort of a museum of sorts, kind of showcasing off our different rockets. Of course, I still need to remake the tier 3 rocket because it kind of died on Venus. So yeah, this will lead out into the outer rings. There's not going to be, I don't think I'm going to use them for anything. They're mostly just for decoration. But if we do need extra room, we can go ahead and use them. But yeah, so it sort of leads out to the outside there. And then there's not much else to explain here, so let's just go down below. This is sort of an elevator tunnel. I think I might convert this into a room of sorts. I think this might be where I hold my refined storage system in the future. But for now, it's just sort of a big empty area. And then this is the main deck, I would say is what it would be called. Yeah, it's pretty empty. Obviously, I only got to do the outside. But we'll probably get to the interior of this build soon. So yeah, in order to make the outer rings, I actually used a builder because there was no way I was going to be able to do those by myself. So yeah, I just used a builder from RF Tools, build this chest absolutely to the brim. I actually used a combination of iron plates and steel plates. The majority of these outer rings are actually made out of steel plating, but occasionally I do have these sort of iron plates, almost as if it was repaired with iron instead of steel, something like that. Yeah, these sort of larger sections, I mostly did it because I started to run out of steel really fast. So yeah, I just occasionally, when I would run out of steel, I would just put iron plates inside the builder and it would build off these sections. So yeah. For the walls, most of these are actually made out of white concrete, and then we use the grill white concrete as well as the wired white concrete, almost as if there's exposed panels like being pulled off the walls. Maybe some maintenance going on, something like that. Oh, we also used bolted white concrete. Very similar purpose as the other ones. It just adds a little bit more texture to the pretty much all white build. And by the way, I do still need to texture this top part. I just really haven't had the time to do it. This was a really big project. So yeah, looking at the outside of this part, you'll notice that I have these sort of random like stairs with iron pillars occasionally. they're just decorative. They don't really serve any sort of purpose other than to add a little bit of extra detail. In the world of model making, and specifically for movies like Star Wars, for example, what they would do when they were actually designing the ships and stuff, they would actually add, I think they're called greebles. Basically, they would take parts of other like model kits and add them onto like the ships and stuff, just to add a little bit of extra detail, so that everything isn't just completely flat. So yeah, that just gives it a little bit of extra texturing to it. The sort of support structures that lead out to the outer rings also have them occasionally. Then I also have these sort of bands around parts of them. This is supposed to act sort of like as if it was repaired recently, and they just sort of lapped over some extra material that they had to fix like the structural problem with it. Something like that. I didn't really think about it too much. And then we have these sort of, I almost want to call them clips. These are sort of a supporting structure, mostly decorative though, but they do probably hold some electronics inside of them. And they have these red lights on the outside just to, if there's any approaching ships, it would just kind of warn them that there is a structure here. It is a dark circle around the outside, so they might have troubles seeing it in the dark. So the next part I want to talk about is these sort of little pods, I want to call them, beneath the main deck. These would be added later on in development. They would probably be brought up by like other ships that were trying to board, etc., etc. These would act as like housing structures, or like places for crops to be grown, additional power supplies, etc., etc. The reason that they all look different is maybe because they were manufactured by different companies, or they were made for different purposes. And yeah, that kind of leads me down to sort of the bottom supporting structure here. This is kind of like the main actual supporting metal structure of the entire build here. It leads down here. I kind of want to build an additional ring down here, one that's a little bit smaller than the other ones. I'm still debating it. But yeah, so this is where we have sort of these antennas down here. These would just allow us to communicate with Earth. Yeah, that's pretty much the only purpose that they serve. Yeah, overall, I think this took about 8 to 10 hours in total. There was a lot of debate at the beginning, like when I was first starting to build it, like how I actually wanted it to be built. I didn't do anything in like creative for like for the purposes of like testing out like build palettes and such. I just kind of went at it, and this is what I came up with. I'm really happy with it. It looks really good, personally. And I think it'll serve a really nice purpose in the future as sort of our main hub, at least for now. And sort of an area where we can start our future projects. And the first one that I want to do is actually upgrading our refined storage system and having it be pretty much complete. I kind of want to get started on making refined storages crafters. These basically allow you to automatically craft certain ingredients or certain blocks that will... Crafters allow you to basically automatically craft certain materials, and yeah, it makes everything a lot easier, especially when you're going to be upgrading through refined storages, different sorts of like storage ingredients. Refined storages, different types of storage disks. I think we have an extra mod that adds some more. Let me try to find it. Yeah, here we go. We can do 256k storage parts. We do actually have one of these, I think, in the storage system already, but I want to get all the way up to as large as we can, the 1048. And in order to do this, we are going to need a ton of these different parts. and it's going to be very, very difficult to go all the way through these, so I want to be able to automatically craft every single part of the refined storage, things like silicon, the quartz enriched iron, even these 1K storage parts, and the 4K, all the way up until we can craft the 1048 million storage parts. The extra storage mod also has these upgraded crafters as well, so we'll probably end up using these as our crafters. But before I get onto that, I am going to need breathable air in here, just so that I don't have to run back and fill up my oxygen can again. By the way, I did end up getting the enchantments on my armor. So yeah, we are using the vibranium stuff now, but I'm using the jet suit as the cosmetic armor, just because I really like how it looks. So I'm going to get some airlocks down, and I think these are directional, similar to how regular doors are. So I'm going to do it like that, just so that it has a little bit of depth. That should be good. Go. And one last one over here. Now I'll probably end up closing off the top part. Interesting. Yeah, I think I'll just close this for now. I'm not sure how much it's gonna actually consume, so let's get iron platings here, and we'll just close that off for now. Alright, so I've done a little bit more work decorating inside the space station here. As you can see, we have a new room in sort of the central area. This is the main hallway, the main floor, I should say. So first thing you'll notice is we have sort of pathways branching back out, and then we have rooms on either side. And this room is pretty much the only one that I've kind of halfway decorated. This is the oxygen room. This is where we can fill our oxygen gear up with the oxygen loader, and I have sort of a lab here, I guess you could say. Just trying to decorate things a little bit. Maybe some experiments going on with like small trees over here, but the main thing is this kind of structure here in the corner. This is actually our sink, our fluid pipe, and our oxygen distributor, as well as the flux point with a gravity normalizer. So yeah, the gravity normalizer will basically allow me to adjust gravity within a certain area. So I have it set on max right now, and you can see I can just barely jump. I had it set to, what was it, 9, it's like 9.8 or something like that for, that's what regular gravity is. Feels a little bit off, but yeah, that's it's good enough for now at least. So normally these airlocks will actually completely seal off an area from other places from getting oxygen. So I just have these like little iron bar vents in the corners of each of the rooms, and these will basically allow oxygen to spread throughout the entire base. I also have in some of these other side rooms these vents which lead up to the next floor. And I should actually have a grate over that, but I'll get to that eventually. I also got the elevators installed as well finally, so we can go easily from floor to floor and get all the way back out to the top. Make sure to close that. And yeah, what I was going to show you really quick is these... Oop, not on that floor. I was like, where did they go? These are the ducts that I was just showing you. These allow oxygen to get up into this area. For this floor, I'll probably just have my own oxygen distributor up here, but this sort of middle one was a little bit awkward. I think the distributor would have taken up too much room here, so I think that's a pretty decent solution. It also makes the base look a little cooler with sort of more decorations on the outside. And by the way, for this, I am using a lot of framed blocks, so yeah, just so that we can get those sort of flat angles. And yeah, I think it looks a little bit better than just having the squares. So yeah, we have our waystone in one of these corner rooms. I might end up decorating this to be more like a living quarters type situation. I'm not really sure how to integrate the waystone into the station because it is a little more magic based almost, and we're very sci-fi in this base, so I'll have to figure out something for that. And then one of the other rooms will probably end up being a living quarters of sorts, and I'm not sure what the last one I want to be. I'll figure it out eventually though. And then yeah, so for the floor below, this is sort of where we access the pods that we have. These are probably going to be used later on, so I'm not too worried about getting like oxygen down here and actually finding a purpose for these quite yet. So yeah, that's where this is currently. I'll probably add a reactor in one of these at least, just for additional power. I think I want to get into the power mod eventually as well, so that could be a good way to do that. Alright, and I just realized that this episode is getting pretty long already, and I haven't even really done anything yet. So what I want to do now is actually move my refined storage system over into the new base. Alright, so this is where the current system is set up. It is a little bit small, I'm noticing, but we should be able to expand it soon. So I think all I want to do is just grab everything and pull it out. I think I'm just going to empty all of these drawers into the system itself, because I do plan on making those very large systems by themselves. So yeah. Now, destroying the system does mean that a lot of these things, a lot of these machines in here are going to be no longer automatic, but I do have a plan for that soon. So I might do that in between episodes. I'm not really sure. Maybe we make it a part of this episode, but either way, yeah, it's going to be disconnected. Same with the reactor, but I also have a plan for this as well. All right, so to begin with, I think I want the controller up a few blocks into the air. This will probably change in the future pretty soon, because if I do remember correctly, the controller from Refined Storage can multi-block, so we can add more connections and I believe make the network larger. So yeah, we'll definitely do that soon. Let's see here. I should have grabbed some more cables out. For now, actually, yeah, let me get this wireless transmitter set up with the dimension card inside. That way we can still access it. And then let's get the flux point on top as well. There we go. The most basic system that we could possibly make. And we need to rebind this, I believe. Like that. Is it shift right click? Can never quite remember how to do this. Here we go. Alright, so we don't actually have access to any of our items quite yet, because we don't have them on disk drives. So for this, yeah, honestly just setting it up on the side. I should have probably grabbed out a few more things. Did I lose my... Oh, they're right here. Alright, so we should have access to pretty much everything now. And I'll make some more of these refined storage cables. Find cable. So for this, I'm just gonna have the cables come out all the way to the walls on the opposite side of where the vents are. So one side is going to have our discs, and the other side is going to have our crafters. All right, and that's the system for now. It does look a little bit weird with these cables sort of just reaching out like that. I might end up moving the controller all the way up. I do want to make sure that I can still use my elevator though, which I can. Nice. Yeah, so blocks in between elevators shouldn't interfere with it. Sometimes they do, but yeah. Over on this side, we have our disk drive. We can also use, I think they're like a block variant of the storage block, I believe they're called. I don't know exactly the purpose of them. All right, and the more that I'm actually thinking about this, I think I actually want to swap my system over to applied energistics instead. I feel like it's going to be a lot more useful for the purposes that I want to use it for. Refined storage is really nice, especially early game, but I feel like it's a little bit too simple for the kinds of projects that I want to go for. So I think in the next episode, we're going to get into applied energistics. But I do think that we're going to end things there for today. Sorry for the shorter video today. I spent a lot of time building the base, and I spent a lot of time showing it off. So yeah. Anyway, though, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.